They go up on the Feast of Tabernacles. Christ does not want to make a public entry or a public advent for this feast, so he goes up secretly, but he does break out in his teaching. He again teaches that he comes from the Father. He also teaches of the living water that comes forth from the belly of a man, from his chest. And it says here he speaks of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, who had not been given yet. The people are correct that the Messiah does not come from Galilee. That's where Jesus grew up. That's where he did his work. That's where he, is most well known, and that's where he keeps coming from, and that's where he and his apostles reside. They don't live in Jerusalem. They live in Galilee. They all know that the Messiah comes from Bethlehem. It's interesting. John's gospel, unlike Matthew or Luke's gospel, does not give us the nativity account. It doesn't tell us how Joseph and Mary went to Bethlehem. All we get is at the beginning, the profound words, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." That's how John's gospel begins. But it seems that, of course, that St. John is aware that Christ secretly was born in Bethlehem because of the census of Caesar Augustus. So there's this confusion here, and they're trying to discount Christ because he's born in the wrong place. They just don't know that although he grew up in Galilee, he was in fact born in Bethlehem. This is sort of a pivot chapter. We see here that the religious leaders, after the healing of the man previously in the pool of Bethsaida, now we start seeing that there is a consensus amongst the priests, the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees against Christ. And now they are actively plotting to get him, to judge him. And the people are starting to go to the authorities and say, what is the story with Jesus of Nazareth? Why aren't you doing anything, or why aren't you recognizing him? So this is beginning the shift in John's gospel, and you can feel it because the multitude in this chapter, they say, "Thou hast a devil."